Good morning and welcome, colleagues, to day 3 of the SideCAP project final dissemination event. This morning, you'll be very pleased to hear that we have quite an exciting morning lined up for you. We have a debate on the fundamental premise of this final dissemination event, as I see it, which is open educational resources. Just before we launch into the debate proper, I should explain to you the proceedings this morning, just to refresh our memories, as indeed I had to refresh mine about debates, because debates for me is something I did quite a while ago, not too long ago. Thank you, Bibhya, for smiling at me. First of all, I'll be doing a very brief introduction of the topic, why Re-invent the Vaka, use OERs, which will be followed by the debate proper, which will take around 36 minutes. And then while the judges are tallying up their points and smoothing out any issues that may have arisen during the debate, we will have a little bit of an audience discussion on anything that any issues, any points you may have heard during the debate that you want to pick up. And so we'll have that little discussion to give the judges time to tally up their points, and then of course we'll announce the winners and allow them with a vote of thanks. Some debate guidelines, again, in the hope of refreshing our memories. There is apparently, and these positions I think are common to both teams. The staters will be primarily responsible for stating the position taken by the group. And basically what they are doing is they need to bring up point by point the issues inherent in each part of the argument. So for the judges, that's something that you will be looking for. Also, what's called a prover will be responsible for citing relevant research to back up the statements and arguments of each stater. So for the prover, the main characteristic that they must show is that they must have intimate knowledge of the empirical content of the positions taken and should understand the research supporting the side chosen. You know I'm reading from text here, so I'm just hyping you up. Okay, and then there's what's called an attacker. We're really getting into the battleground now. Attackers will be responsible for probing the opposite team for weaknesses in their arguments. They may question data. See what I mean? Like, so, you know, you hype up and they say, not so bad after all. Disprove, counter, and use any rational method to discredit the opposition's position or data. So basically, those are some of the points that perhaps our judges may want to keep in mind as they work through their judging sheets. What's very important is at the end of the debate, staters will summarize, recap, and state which of the points made by their teams can be salvaged or were left undamaged by the opposing team to ultimately support their position. And then I'll move into, I think what you really do want to know is the time. So each leader, we have 2 leaders in the 2 teams, 1 on each team. They will have 5 minutes to start and 5 minutes to conclude. Your team members have 4 minutes each. Okay, 5 to start, 5 to conclude. Team members have 4 minutes each. Neelam, to my left here, is the timekeeper. And she will, for the leaders, she will ring the bell once at the 4th minute, and then at the end of that 4th minute, which makes it the 5th minute, she will ring it a little longer than she did the first time. Now, the second bell is your warning / cut sign, okay? So you're supposed to stop talking 30 seconds after she rings that second bell. Otherwise, the sound will go down on you, okay? All right. And then for the team members, you will have, the bell will go for you on the 3rd minute, and then you will be there'll be a second bell at the 4th minute, which signals that 30 seconds after that, you should stop talking. Okay? So any questions from anyone, particularly the teams, yet? Thank you. Our panel of judges this morning, colleagues, and thank you very much from the faculties for agreeing to do what I hope won't be such an onerous task this morning. Aidan Ricketts, senior lecturer from the School of Law in Vanuatu, who we've been very privileged to have this morning. Dr. Gurmeet Singh, associate professor, School of Management and Public Administration, Faculty of Business and Economics, and Dr. Bibhya Sharma, associate dean, Learning and Teaching, division coordinator, Mathematics, Faculty of Science, Technology and Environment. Thank you very much to our... Thank you. Yes, I think they've got the hardest job this morning. Okay, let's get into the debate, and I will preface my introduction of the teams with why we call this debate Why Reinvent the Vaka. If you're looking at the screen above me, you'll see several examples of the Vaka, and on the table to the left of me, you'll also see the Fijian equivalent of the Vaka, or Wanga, as we call it. In the last few days, the phrase, why reinvent the wheel, has been often repeated in direct relation to OERs. And similarly, context, relevance, repurposing, and sustainability have also punctuated our discussions and presentations on OERs in the last few days. In the USP region, the archetype of human ingenuity that is analogous to the wheel is the Vaka, as it's known in some parts of Polynesia. The Waka, as the Maori of New Zealand call it, and also I think the Cook Islanders call it the Waka as well, or the Wanga, as we call it here in Fijian. And in English, it's the canoe. And specifically in our region, it is a canoe with an outrigger and it with or without sails. A year ago, in the SideCAP Project Steering Committee meeting, where the idea of this debate was born, we all unanimously agreed to replace the wheel with the Vaka, because it is, we felt, the defining symbol of our USP region, representing for our many cultures the very first ocean voyage made thousands of years ago by our forefathers and mothers to what is today our island homes in Polynesia, Micronesia, and Melanesia. In our stories of origin, the Vaka is the symbol of both mobility and stability, providing us with the means of navigating the vast ocean spaces in which we live and anchoring our traditions in the sea of islands, rather than the islands in the sea, which we call home, emphasizing, and I quote from the late Professor Epeli Hawofa, the totality of our relationships, not the perceived far-flung centers of power which characterize the first written accounts of our history. So in our living oral cultures of today, context, relevance, repurposing, and sustainability are in the first instance symbolized, and in the second realized, in the collective representation of our very existence to this day in the USP region, Sea of Islands, the Vaka. May I now introduce the teams. On the left, we have the affirmative team, Professor Frank Rennie, Professor of Sustainable Rural Development, Head of Research and Postgraduate Development, University of Highlands and Islands, and he is the leader of the affirmative team. Elizabeth Fong, Deputy University Librarian, University of the South Pacific. Thank you. Thank you, Libby, for agreeing to be here this morning. Dr. Monica Masino, Program Coordinator, Pre-University and Professional Programs, University of the West Indies, Barbados Campus. On the right, we have the negative team. Professor Martin Weller, Professor, Educational Technology, Open University UK, who is also the leader. We also have Elia Grant-Fraser, Instructional Designer from the University of the West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago Campus. And we also have Mohammad, Santally from the Visual Communication VCILT University of Mauritius. Thank you very much, colleagues.